Hello, my name is Alejandra Sandoval. I chose the famous aria Habanera from the opera Carmen as my theory project. This first part will cover the large-scale sections. At first, I didn't realize how repetitive this aria is, but as we can see, the A material repeats a second time with different lyrics, then a third time in the piano accompaniment. After the A' section, we have different material that is repeated almost exactly, which is why I chose to label it as B'. After this B section, all these events are repeated again. Here is the order of the events a second time, which is an exact copy from the beginning, just with different lyrics. After looking at these events, I decided that the best label would be modified strophic form, which is defined as when you have the main melody repeated for 2 or 3 stanzas, but then you have new or varied material when the text requires it. Here I'm able to show the different theme types, such as the 2 periods that make up the A sections. The A' section has the same melodic material from the A section, but we will hear it from the upper voice and the piano. Then we move to the B section, which surprisingly does not have any cadences. We are also able to see just the beginning of the B section, which starts with another CBI. The second half of the B section closes with a PAC, which makes it a consequent phrase. Then we have a small interlude that brings us back to the A section that we already know, just with different lyrics. The A' and B sections have the same material from the beginning. However, our last B' included new material in the last 2 measures, which I imagine was done to show that we had reached the end of the aria. Now that I've explained some main events, let's listen to it and identify these sections in the music.
Si tu ne m'aimes
to the main motives. So as we can see in the first measure, which is part of the prefix, this becomes what would be the ostinato figure throughout the entire aria. And fun fact, this rhythm is a Cuban form of syncopation called the habanera. When Carmen starts to sing, her first few notes are a motive that is repeated a step lower, then another time with some ornaments. We start in the key of D minor, and a small motive that becomes an ostinato figure which establishes the D pedal. We can see it right here with the yellow arrow. D in the key of D minor, as we know, is 1, which stays with us throughout the entire aria, so it's just a big 1 expansion. Here, I just wanted to show the expanded 1 in the key change to D major. This is all part of the A section. So I am using the yellow arrows to show us the D pedal, and then I have the orange arrows to remind us of the 1 tonic expansion. Then we have the cadences, which look normal, have cadence in a PAC, and this is now the A prime section. When the A section returns, there are no changes in harmony, and we still have that eternal 1 thanks to our D pedal. Finally, our last A prime section is important, since it is the last key change to D major, which is the key that remains until the end of the aria. This may look familiar to us, since we have our typical 2-measure basic idea, followed by a 2-measure contrasting idea, and since there is no cadence, it is a CBI. Then we have another set of 2 measures of a basic idea, then a contrasting idea that does have a cadence, in this case a PAC. This phrase is one of Kaplan's hybrids, the CBI plus consequent. Here, this phrase may look normal at first sight, since it has 8 measures, it has a 2 measures basic idea and contrasting idea, yet there's something important missing. Where are the cadences? We have a CBI, then another CBI, which is not one of Kaplan's models. I had mentioned earlier how this phrase could be divided into small motives that are repeated and varied. However, now I want us to observe how this theme changes slightly when it is repeated. Right here we have the first phrase on the top, then the second phrase in the bottom, and there's a slight change which we can see right here in with a purple arrow, marking the difference between the G sharp and then the second time it is a G natural. This small change allows the phrase to reach tonic the second time we hear it. Then we hear that same theme, but now it's in the piano, and the voice becomes secondary. We can see the theme right there in the upper voice of the piano. This chord is supposed to be 5 in the key of D major, which we know should be an A major chord. But as you can see, we have D as the bass note. I thought that was really surprising, as we don't usually find tonic as the bass note for a dominant chord. Then it happens again. It actually happens many times, which is expected due to the D pedal. Did you notice that every cadence had quotation marks? Here's why. So usually we have the normal PAC that has a 5 in root position, then a 1. However, our famous D pedal complicates things, since the PAC now has a 5 chord with a tonic in the bass, so it is not really a true PAC as we know it, but we hear it as one. I don't want to say that I dislike any part of this aria because I truly love it. However, the B section really confused me. First, we hear this phrase in the beginning that seems to be repeated over and over with no change. However, when we look at the score, it's actually really different. There's many little variations here and there, and then it's transposed, but we don't really catch that. So let's see if you can. I'm going to play a little part right now. So as you can see, this first phrase of the B section starts in A, then it goes down to the D. Then the second time we hear it, it's actually a step up. It now starts on a B and goes down to the E, but it sounds exactly the same to me. Now we have the second phrase on top and the third phrase on the bottom. As you can see, it has been changed slightly again. The starting note is back to A on the third phrase, and it is not a copy of the first phrase, since it has a different contrasting idea, which we can see right there. My favorite part is marked by the blue arrows that we can see right there. I love listening to this piano part because after listening to the same ostinato figure for so long, it was nice to hear something new. Also, when Carmen, the opera, is done with orchestra and chorus, they sing these parts, so having the piano include this little moment makes me really happy. Si je t'aime, prends garde à toi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Mais si... As a singer myself and a mezzo-soprano, I love that the last measures of this aria allow the singer to have full control over that high note in the end. I think that most singers appreciate the chance to sing a forte high note that also has a fermata, which feels like a dream come true to me. So let's listen to this last part. Mais si je t'aime, si je t'aime, prends garde à toi. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you're a little bit more interested in opera and you go and listen to Carmen or just give opera a try. Thank you.